So in case you didn't catch that, I can tell you what that spoken word part said. It said, most people are searching for happiness. They're looking for it. They're trying to find it in someone or something outside of themselves. That's a fundamental mistake. Happiness is something that you are, and it comes from the way that you think. And I mostly agree with this. I actually made a video about this on my other channel, which is called Therapy in Action. Check it out. And that video is called The Happiness Trap. Should we be chasing happiness? And in essence, we are designed to experience a wide range of emotions, the core of which are anger, surprise, disgust, fear, sadness, and happiness. And people get in the trap of only wanting to experience happiness, or to flip that around on its head. They don't want to feel the other ones. So they spend a lot of time avoiding things that make them feel that way, those other emotions. But that's unworkable because life is difficult. Life brings pain. Something called psychological flexibility is arguably a better way forward because it promotes this idea of living a meaningful life, however that is defined by yourself, in the face of experiencing the full range of emotion that humans can feel. My other channel is completely dedicated to this topic at the moment. So if this interests you, then please check that out. I don't want to spend too long talking about it here during a reaction. And the other part of what was said in this part of the song is that people are looking for happiness in someone or in something external to themselves, where actually it comes from the way that you think. And again, I kind of agree. And without getting into a critical argument here about what comes first, does a thought lead to an emotion, or does an emotional response to something then leads to a thought? I think what he is mostly likely getting at here is that we find happiness in things that are intrinsic to ourselves, not extrinsic to ourselves. Even if you get every material thing you've ever wanted, if you could have every desire that you ever wanted, then you can still be really miserable. You can still be really, really unhappy. And if you look at some of the interventions that promote psychological flexibility, such as acceptance and commitment therapy, the primary goal isn't to feel happier, it's to learn to move towards what is valued by you and what is meaningful to you, despite the unpleasant stuff showing up. But when people do that, a side effect is that they do in fact feel happier. Now, I say all of this with the best intentions, but there's an elephant in the room here, isn't there? And probably actually more than one. Firstly, there's an assumption that everyone has some sort of intrinsic value that they can move towards, and that might take a lot of work and a lot of time to be discovered. But a lot of people's situations aren't conducive to that discovery, or they have been discovered, and the person's context makes it difficult for them to actually act and behave in that way because of, well, there's loads of reasons. There's poverty, there's health, there's wealth inequality, there's living through war. There's loads of things. And I know that there are people who speak to it being more of a mindset thing, like Viktor Frankl and his book Search for Meaning. But even as a therapist, I struggle a bit with that concept. Like theoretically, it makes sense, but I think in practice, it's just so difficult, and people just get worn down with it all. It becomes too much, and then as a solution to end the pain, they start thinking of ending it. It's not necessarily because they want to die; it's because they don't know how to live with the pain that they're experiencing anymore. Right. Apologies for that little, not rant, but a little aside, I guess.
Of life, I should just kill myself.
this looks like he could be talking to some, I don't know how to describe it, some kind of external force with the ability to take him and end this suffering. But when it happens, when he's taken, I think, he digs himself back out. He finds a way back, which initially, I think, indicates that there's some hope there. You know, he's decided to come back. You know, let me back at life. I can do this. I want to be back. But then he says, now I'm on my knees, oh baby, begging please. So despite having a second chance, he's gone straight back to the source of what made him feel this way in the first place, which seems to be some sort of relationship breakdown, I think, although I'm not sure if this is kind of metaphorical in that sense. And as previous behavior is a very good predictor, in fact, it's probably the best predictor of future behavior, then he's going to end up feeling the same way, unless something changes.
Now I'm on my knees, oh baby, begging please, will you end my pain, will you take my life, will you bleed me out, will you hang me out to dry?
It's the same chorus. Again, it's the same thing repeating itself. Same behavior, because nothing's changed.
Will you take my life? Will you bleed me out? Will you hang me out to dry? Will you take my soul in the midnight rain while I'm falling apart, while I'm going insane?
We cannot choose the things that will happen to us, but we can choose the attitude we will take toward anything that happens to us.
Don't you miss me when I'm
So I think
Choose the attitude we will take toward anything that happens to us.
so. In that background part there, it says we cannot choose the things that will happen to us, but we can choose the attitude we take towards anything that happens. And that seems very similar to the well-known Serenity Prayer, or sometimes referred to as the Serenity Saying. You know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There's an element of acceptance here that there are a lot of things that are outside of our control, but we do have some control over our actions within a context. And again, that sounds intellectually sound in principle, but in practice, it can be damn hard.
We cannot choose the things that will happen to us, but we can choose the attitude we will take toward anything that happens to us.
Don't you miss me when I'm gone? 'Cause you're the fucking reason that I'm not around. Don't you miss me when I'm gone? 'Cause you're the fucking reason that I'm not around. Fucking reason that I'm not around. Bitch, you're the fucking reason that I'm not around.
It's just still be playing, but it seemed to have stopped there. Don't know what happened. It was only last couple of seconds. So I've been thinking about how to separate my experience of the track as a whole, you know, of how it connects with me as a therapist, how it connects with me as a person, and what I take away from it. And I'm going to try it this way to see how this lands. I'm going to split it into this idea that we use in therapy sometimes, which is into the heart, the head, and the hands. You know, heart being how the trap makes me feel in terms of how it's put together, the emotion, the overall presentation. It reminds me a bit like some of the XXXTentacion songs, something that he would put out. It's got that kind of repetitive, looping kind of hook or melody. You know, it definitely makes me feel a bit sad that someone has gone through this and that other people are likely going through this or are going through this. My head tells me that intellectually, therapy models can help with this. And as a society, we could help support people going through this a lot better than we do. But my hands being practically, what do I take away from this? Is that some people's lives are so difficult and they've had such traumatic experiences throughout their lives that it's almost, and I don't think patronizing is the right word, it almost feels like it attributes blame to them, that they can't shift their mindset or they can't accept and move forward, or that they are somehow not trying to help themselves. And that's not fair at all. And I think a lot of services, especially in the UK, are so caught up in providing brief therapy or very time limited therapy, you know, like 8 to 12 sessions. That, you know, with therapy being that short, you're very limited in what you can do in that time. And there's a lot of people who need a lot more help than that. And that's before we even start looking at things like tackling inequalities. So this has been a bit of a long one for me. I think that's enough. Thanks for the request, Coco. I hope you like this. I hope I didn't talk too much for you. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.